Hey guys, it's Bruce. Welcome to ConvoCourses podcast. We're going to be continuing with this AI security journey. If you didn't know, I've started a journey of going deeper into AI security. I haven't learned a lesson from starting super late on cloud. This time, I'm not going to make that mistake. I'm going to jump right into it. That's what I've been doing. I've been slowly introducing you guys to things I've been learning, stuff that how I've been able to get into it, and what I'm already, by the way, I'm employed. I'm working at a job that is using this stuff. So I'm teaching you not only what I know, but what I'm doing. It's not coming, it's already here. Organizations are already implement AI enabled systems. It's way faster than I thought in this last journey of me looking for a job because I'm a contractor. I'm bouncing around all the time, going from job to job. I thought normally technology has been taking a year, 6 months, 8 months, 2, 3 years. Not this one. This is already happening right now. I'm telling you because the interviews that I had, it would come up. Now, granted, I put some of that in everything that I've been learning, I will put in my resume. So that might be why I got tapped by people who had AI enabled devices or AI in their environments and needed a security guy to come in there and help out. That's where I'm at right now. The job I'm at right now is incredible, by the way. People are great. I really like it. That said, I know it's time for me to really get smarter on AI. Now, I will be taking questions if you guys have any questions for me after this, but I do have something prepared that I want to show you guys and walk you through. I'm hoping that on this journey that I'm taking right here, having already landed a job that uses AI in an enterprise level environment, I'm hoping to go deeper into this so that I can be a part of the architecture where I'm currently at, or if I go to another job, I can be a part of that as well. So that's the goal that I have. But to do that, I need to learn a lot more. I need to get more hands on. I need to get way sharper at this. During my journey of doing this, we're going to go deeper and deeper into this. We'll use tools. The end goal for me with this, the big milestone that I'm trying to reach is to get to a point where I create a local AI lab that maybe I'll allow other people to access, right? It includes things like having a network that has AI enabled devices. That means I'm gonna have to create containers. I'm gonna have to do maybe a DMZ. I'm gonna have to have publicly available, all that kind of stuff, memberships, all that kind of stuff. And that right there is going way deep into this major milestone that I would like to do within this year. I'd like to do the first iterations of it. So stay with me. If you guys didn't know, I'm part of a community called ConvoCourses where it's just a bunch of professionals who talk to one another about cybersecurity, about getting into this field. And if you're interested in that, if you want to join us, it's at ConvoCourses.com or login.convocourses.com. You can find us there. Without further ado, let's get into this. So I want to show you guys a little bit about some of the threats out there. Last week, we talked about the basics of AI. And this week, we're going to go into some of the threats, the use cases of how AI can be, why it needs to be protected, why AI security is so important. At the end of this, I'll take questions. AI threat landscape. So there's two different areas to consider here. You've got AI that can be used as a weapon. AI can be used as a weapon or it can be targeted, right? In defense and attacking, it's a force multiplier. It's going to increase anything you do 10x, 100x. This is why you'll see why it's so important here. You've got things like not just deep fake video, but you got deep fake voice to do social engineering. You've got an automated method of making phishing attacks. You've got AI assisted vulnerability scanning. You've got ways to use AI on Google to where you can search at machine speed to find all this information, such as open source intelligence on people and brands. You can bypass guardrails of AI. And that gets into how you can target AI. What can you do to target AI? You can do prompt injections. You can do data poisoning. You can do model inversion. You can do jailbreaking. You can attack the supply chain of AI. There's just a ton of things you can do to attack AI or AI enabled systems. This is why it's so important to have cybersecurity professionals in this field. This is why I decided to target this as my next one, right? Cybersecurity, the beginning of my journey, I realized very quickly how important cybersecurity was. And this right here, because more organizations are going to start using AI, it's an ample opportunity for you to get involved and get in on the ground floor. Because we're still in the beginning phases. Everybody's talking about it, but it's still day zero of this whole thing, where it's still being introduced. So this is the time to get in. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper into the AI threat landscape. Let me give you some use cases of some of the things that we just mentioned here. Let's start off with something that's happening right now. So recently, in the last couple of weeks, there was some talk about using AI as an autonomous weapon. Now, what does that mean? That means that AI, you launch like a drone that's AI based, right? And the drone's a weapon system. Drone, you putting it in, or human moving it around, it just flies on its own. Not only does it fly on its own, but it makes its own decisions. It targets people on the ground, and then it can make a decision on who's a target and who's not, on what's a target and what's not. And it has music, maybe it has munitions on it. It has conventional weapons on it, and it can take out buildings, it can take out people, places, whatever. And autonomous means it just does it on its own with no human intervention. So the recent thing that happened here is that for whatever reason, you put the pieces together, but the Pentagon was like, listen, we want to be able to use your tool to do whatever we want. And they were talking directly to Anthropic. Anthropic was like, no, we have two rules we don't want you to use our IP for. We don't want you to use our AI for mass surveillance, and we don't want you to use it for where the AI makes all the decisions for killing people. Those are our two rules. Anything else, like within the laws of the government, of laws of the Constitution, you can use it, right? Those are only two rules. And then the Pentagon, for whatever reason, said, then we don't want you, we're not going to use your tool, and we're going to make it so that nobody in the Department of Defense can use your tool. Not even the other vendors can use your tool. You're out of here. You're going to be a supply chain risk. And what's crazy is that they're still using it right now. At the beginnings of this war that they're doing right now, they're using it right now. None of this is classified, by the way, guys. You can look this up. I'm not giving away anything that you can't read on your own. But yeah, so that's what happened. And it all had to do with this using AI as a weapon. And this is one of the most dangerous things you can do with AI as a weapon. There's so many sci-fi movies about this, and for good reason. Like, things go wrong when you do this kind of thing. You can just do a demo in your head about this, how this can go very wrong. And that leads us to AI as a target. How can you target AI? One of the ways is apparently you can use prompts. You can use poetry as prompts, and that can bypass the guardrails. There are guardrails in AI that make it so that it's not going to give you information about how to build a bomb or how to make poisons or but if you put it in a poetry, if you put it in a poem, you might be able to trick it into giving you the answers or trick it into doing certain things you want to do. So this right here is a way that people target AI and use it to bypass that. And then think about it, like, what if you put an autonomous weapon in the sky and that can make its own targets, and then somebody hacks that system using poetry as a prompt and then has it attack your whatever targets they want. And so this goes into recent research saying that 62% success rate of handcrafted. So when people were making poems to bypass the guardrails, it had a greater than 50% chance of doing that. Greater than 50% success rate. So here's a couple other examples of how AI can be used as a weapon to attack and how AI can be used to as a target. And so one of them is AI being used in open source intelligence, which means open source intelligence is using tools to find information about you or a brand or an organization that's already out there in the wild, or going on the dark web and finding information, scraping the web to find information and then putting it in a database and then looking through all the information to find out more information beyond just your name and your email and all that kind of stuff, but going even deeper to find more information about a brand or whatever. You can use AI to do this. When I was doing research on this, I noticed like some of the OSINT guys were not sold. Yeah, OSINT. They were not sold on AI, use of AI. If you go to Reddit, open source, and they're talking about OSINT, and they were like, yeah, AI has so much hallucinations and stuff. But just think about it. You, as a great OSINT person, you could use it as a tool to sort through tons of data. If you had a ton of data, it is really good at going through lots and lots of data very quickly. So in the hands of the right OSINT person, this would be extremely effective. So I don't know if you guys can hear me. I can just bring this a little bit closer. Okay. So another thing to, as far as AI as a target, is jailbreaking. This was really popular, and I guess it still is on Reddit. Like every time a new model comes out, there's a bunch of Reddit dudes who immediately jailbreak the system to see if they can get past the guardrails. Jailbreaking, just like you would do with an iPhone, where you want to get past all of the security features that the vendor puts in there, and you can make it so that you can change the screen or in a way that they didn't manufacture it. Well, you can do the same thing with AI and make it say whatever you want, give you information you want, talk a different way that it wasn't designed to talk, bypass guardrails, all that kind of stuff. So jailbreaking is a way to target AI. Another way to target AI. Mass surveillance, which we mentioned in the case between the Pentagon, the Department of War, and Anthropic. One of the things that they didn't want is mass surveillance, and it is incredible at this because it's really good at connecting all the dots very quickly. And China, speaking of mass surveillance, they've already mastered this, and apparently some organizations within the United States and other countries are starting to try to do the same thing. They're okay with it as long as they control it and it's within their power to do what they want. Anyway, so the next one, AI scanning. It's incredible at this. And recently, there's a bunch of different variants of this, but Kali Linux is one of the best scanning tools out there. It's an operating system with just a bunch of pen testing tools on it. And now they've integrated it with Claude. Claude is arguably the best AI out there on the market right now. And this is shifting constantly, but right now it's the best. Having used half a dozen of these things, it's really done really good. And so now you've got this combination. I haven't messed with this one, but I plan on messing with this. And then there's this paper as far as AI as a target. This University, Texas A&M, came out with this paper, a hypothesis about using brain rot to poison an LLM. I mean, I think this is just data poisoning is what it is. But here's it's a breakdown of how they plan on doing this. It's having the AI pull from junk and then give you junk in and junk out. And there's more to it than that, I'm sure. But it harkens to another paper that was done, or research that was done by Anthropic and UK's Alan Turing Institute, where they took 250 malicious documents that were heavily cited or whatever. It looked like a scholarly paper, and they introduced that into the large language model, right? Because large language models, they learn from reading through papers or websites and all that kind of stuff. But if you give it a bunch of junk, which they did, they gave it 250 malicious documents to poison the information, and they found that was very effective against AI of a certain size. Now, here's another couple of cases. One is AI is a weapon. One is the targeting of AI, and one of these completely fooled me. One of those, I don't know if you heard. I don't really follow this kind of thing, but there was some kind of campaign from American Eagle that they had Sydney Sweeney, who is a actress or a model. I don't know. I don't know who she is, but I've seen her. I just don't like know what she does. I don't, if she's in movies, I'm not sure. But she appears in some commercial and she says something about having blue eyes and blonde hair or something. And then people got all pissed off about it. I saw the commercial. I'm like, I don't see what they're upset about. I don't get it. But apparently people were really pissed off about it. And they were saying, oh, the right and the left is doing this and that or whatever. But the main part of this story is that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is a congresswoman from New York, they said that she came out and said something about this Nazi campaign commercial. And apparently she didn't. This is a deep fake, but it was good enough. I was fooled. It got me. I didn't even know that this was a deep fake. I thought she really said something. But the thing is, News Nation and a few other major outlets were fooled and they released this information like it was real. And when it comes from them and they're telling everybody else is fooled. So this deep fake fooled millions of people. It's really, AI is really good at manipulating people. It's probably its best skill is manipulating people. I would argue that its best skill is manipulating people, which is terrifying. So as far as target, this one we've talked about before. And originally, this is the one where McDonald's used AI chat feature. I thought this was a brilliant idea. McDonald's went out, they used AI to hire people. So you'd chat with it, you'd upload your resume, it would ask you some questions, and it would know, okay, this person can be hired or cannot be, or this person is good to go or not. So what's incredible about this is that I thought that somebody did like a prompt injection attack in order to get it to leak 64 million records of all the people who were applicants. But that's not what happened. So I did some deeper reading into it. And what it is they just had an over reliance on AI. That's what happened. And so some security researchers, they get into this thing and they hear about this chat hiring thing and then they try to hack it. They can't, the prompt injections aren't working or whatever. But what they did was they became a franchisee. They said, hey, I want to become a franchisee. And then that led them to a parent organization website. They got there and then they got access to this chatbot. And that's when they were able to just type in a basic username and password, admin 123456 or something ridiculous. So that tells me that wasn't AI necessarily. It was they didn't do their due diligence. They had an over reliance on AI. They probably used AI to develop the website, used AI, of course, to hire people. They use AI to do all this stuff. And it ended up being that they didn't do their bare basic best security practices. And because of that, they were able to breach this portion of their website. Unfortunate, very unfortunate. And moving on to AI as a